The Eisenhower Library is in an uproar over Melania Trump giving away our national treasures. Seriously, do these people know any sense of American collective ownership at all? Or do they think our historical artifacts are their toys? Welcome to Occupy Democrats. I'm David Reddish. Last month saw Donald and Melania Trump head to the UK for a special state visit in which they met with King Charles, Queen Camilla, and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, among many others. The visit commemorated the close allyship and history between the United Kingdom and the United States. Here's a reminder.
Tonight, President Trump receiving a royal welcome like no other. 1,300 British military personnel, 120 horses, and a spectacular flyover in red, white, and blue, marking an unprecedented second state visit to the UK by an American commander-in-chief. At historic Windsor Castle, the President and First Lady immediately greeted by Prince William and Princess Kate, then King Charles and Queen Camilla.
As that clip noted, part of the reason for the pomp and circumstance was to get on Trump's good side, as the UK and the rest of Europe grapple with the economic impact of Trump's asinine tariffs and a lack of American leadership in the war in Ukraine. That didn't stop King Charles from brutally trolling Trump to his face during a state dinner. For more on that, check our other videos here on the channel and remember to subscribe. The US and the UK have a long history of strong diplomacy, and in the past, the Brits have honored key Americans for their contribution to the British cause and world peace. Among them, President Dwight D. Eisenhower. You'll recall that before landing his job in the Oval Office, he served as Supreme Commander of American forces in Europe during World War II. And the Brits forged a special gift to show their thanks.
In June 1945, a London Guildhall ceremony presented General Eisenhower with a token sword that used to belong to the Duke of Wellington, part of the ceremony which made him a freeman of London. At the same time, designers began the making of a new sword. When the Allied Supreme Commander officially became a Londoner, it was still in the billet stage. The sword makers then were busy with priority orders for Far East commando knives, and the ceremonial sword was promised for later on. And when they said later, they meant it. With every process hand done, this tale of a sword went on for more than a year. Keeping a record of this example of supreme British craftsmanship, Pathé cameras sat in on every stage of the process. The star of this epic of the sword is old Tom Beasley of Wilkinson's, 84 years old and Britain's oldest swordsmith. In his 57 years with one firm, old Tom has made ceremonial weapons for 5 British kings.
And would you believe that Melania found a way to foul up that legacy? Stay with me here. Following Eisenhower's death, that sword, the Sword of Honor, made its way to the Eisenhower Presidential Library in Abilene, Kansas. That's customary with presidential trophies. Anything in a presidential library becomes the property of the American people following the death of a president. It's part of our cultural heritage, which is a concept foreign to the Trumps, apparently. This morning, CBS News reported that for their visit to the UK, Melania Trump actually tried to give the sword back to the United Kingdom. According to CBS, Melania Trump took charge of giving gifts to the royal hosts for Trump's visit to the United Kingdom. That's not unusual for a First Lady. She did, however, request the Sword of Honor as a gift to King Charles, either not knowing, or more likely, not caring that it belongs to the American people, and it is not something a president can just give away. The move caused Todd Arrington, the longtime curator of the Eisenhower Library, to step down earlier this week. Arrington is a career historian who also served with the National Park Service and National Archives and Record Administration. When Melania requested the sword, Arrington hotly objected. Ultimately, he decided to resign over the matter. Now, it's important to note that CBS found no evidence that the White House pressured Arrington to resign. For that matter, it's not totally clear what the actual status of the Sword of Honor is. Buckingham Palace claims Trump gave King Charles a replica, a sentiment echoed by West Point, which also claims to have made the replica sword. Arrington has yet to comment publicly on the matter, though sources close to him say that the White House was furious with him for objecting. In part, because of the government shutdown, it's difficult at this time to get clear answers with so many offices closed. That said, though the White House does not have control over presidential libraries, the National Archivist does. at the moment, that's Secretary of State Marco Rubio, so the notion of White House pressure is not actually that far-fetched. Either way, this just again demonstrates how President Taco and First Lady Taco Bell see America as their property, something self-serving and disposable, and have no real respect or loyalty to the American people, or the fact that we own the country and her historical artifacts. Presidential libraries are not to be treated as gift closets, Melania. And yes, I realize somebody probably kept you in a gift closet at one point, which is how you met Trump. And that person was probably Jeffrey Epstein. But I digress. I also realize that years of marriage to Donald Trump probably have left you craving a different sword. Nevertheless, keep your hands off America's. This is Occupy Democrats.